Okay, welcome to McBoss channel, McBoss Capital channel. Here we're going to start with looking at the index. We have this is QQQ. We can also jump to NASDAQ. Let's go to NASDAQ. Okay, yeah, so should be similar. So the green line is a 10-day moving average. So we only have 4 days this week on the market because Monday was a holiday for the US market. And we can see after last week's Friday, reversal, we have started a downtrend, and now we are trying to find support at 10-day, but it is not looking good. Thursday we saw a nice rebound from the 10-day, but obviously you can see Friday it gaps down again. So it's starting to look weaker. I'm not sure this volume is real, but it does peak quite a bit. So let me just go to investors.com just to double check what the volume looks like here. So there must be some sort of rebalancing happening on Friday because the volume jumped up a lot at the end of the day. Usually that doesn't happen till the last few days of the month, but I'm not sure again if this is accurate, but it did see a huge spike here, so I don't know. Yeah, so let's assume this is real. So that means that there's a lot of selling on Friday, and I believe it was a distribution day based on IBD. So so now we have 3 in count for NASDAQ, 3 distribution days for S&P. So it's not severe yet. Usually 4, 5, or 6 will become more severe, but right now we are on a downtrend. We don't know if this pullback is short-lived or not, so so we gotta be careful. So we come to my notes here. Normal pullback might start at 3% to 5%, and then more severe pullback will be 7%. And if there's any macro news that are going to indicate possibly economy going into recession or something, that might pull the market back even more, and it will turn into a 10% or more correction. So we're gonna be very cautious right now. The NASDAQ is very strong this year. It doesn't say year-to-date value, but let me jump to another screen here. 1 second. PDF. Here we go. So we go here. Yeah, so S&P year to date is 13% up. NASDAQ, you can see it was at one point over 30%, but now it's 28% year to date. So it's been a very strong year, and it's not sustainable to have this strong throughout the whole year, right? So like I said, and Dow Jones only 1.8% since January 1st. So now I was hoping the Dow industrial stocks might hold up better, but it didn't. So it seems to be following the same trend, all 3 index. Okay, so but of course it's more clear that the tech stocks are falling harder. So tech stocks, this NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ. So here you can see this blue line is the advanced decline line. So how many stocks up and down each day, and you can see like it's kind of weird that this is the bottom right here, and we are already near the bottom in terms of number of stocks up and down. So that's kind of weird that this is happening. So again, the tech theme this year was large caps, like we'll talk about that. They call it, now they have a very famous term for it. The top 7 stocks in the tech area. What do they call it? I have in my notes here. Magnificent 7, which includes Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla. And you can see the weighting here actually. Apple, the weighting is 11%. No, I don't know what that number means. Actually, sorry, that may not be percent. Maybe Yeah, it is, I think. So Apple 11%, Microsoft is 9%, Google is 6%, Amazon is 5%, Nvidia is 4%, Tesla is 3%, and Meta is almost 3%. So those are the weighting in the NASDAQ. So that is significant. Okay, I think Google has 2 class shares, so 6% and 5% almost. So that's like 20, 31, 40. 40% of NASDAQ is based on 7 stocks.
Wow.
45% maybe. Let me see. 11, 9, 20, 31, 40. Yeah, 45. Sorry. Yeah, 45. The top 7 stocks account for 45%. That is insane. And so this advanced decline line is based on each individual stock up and down. So the fact that it's near the bottom tells me that the number of stocks going up or down has not changed since, like a month ago. That just tells you the tech market, as strong as it is, has been led by, the top 7 stocks, the Magnificent 7 they call them, and maybe a subset of, AI related stocks. So that's very interesting, right? Okay, so that's that. And then, yeah. So, the S&P is slightly better. You can see the advanced decline line is like, it gave back more than half now from this low here. So, but it's not as bad. It means that there's still more stocks up than down, right, in the last month. Dow Jones doesn't show that line. So that's, to me, those are all interesting things. So we come back to the index chart. Yeah, so we definitely had this, 8 weeks up in a row. We due for a pullback, and it's probably harder to see on here, NASDAQ. But let me try QQQ. Like, you can draw a trend line on the, yeah, maybe this one is also hard to see. But where is tiny right here? Okay, maybe QQQ doesn't show it. Depends how you draw the trend. Let me go back to NASDAQ. Some people draw the trend line, but you can see it clearly. Like, it has a little bit of like parabolic move. So some people, oh yeah, okay. So NASDAQ is more obvious. So this is the trend line, and it broke it here, and that was a signal to take some profit, right? And now we're going down. So the question is, now we're trying to find support 10. If we fail 10, then we're gonna go to 21. Right, and then if we fail 21, we're gonna go to 50. But hopefully not, because that's probably a correction. That will be more than 10%. So right now, I'm guessing it's roughly between 4% or something like that. I don't know. And then here will be like 7 to 8%, so forth. So, so that's the idea here. Any questions?
No, sounds good. So yeah, we are very close to 10-day.
Yeah.
Oh, we've reached 10-day.
This is S&P. So S&P on Friday, you see, it broke the 10-day. So generally, again, because they're all going in the same direction, one might be weaker than the other, and you can see S&P is weaker by now, right? Because it already broke the 10-day and it closed at the bottom. So usually, like, especially over the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised Monday will be, like, if it's a gap down in the morning, it's going to be a big panic, Yeah, but we don't know, right? Obviously, we don't know. There's many ways it could fall to the 21-day line. Sorry. Yeah, you want to say something else? Dow, you see Dow? Like I said, I was hoping Dow would be not as weak, but it actually, fall pretty fast. Look at this. It's already, at the 50-day. So, this is crucial right here. We cannot, if it fell the 50-day, it would be bad. Like, so what I'm hoping is this, right? Like a bounce from here, or at least, you know, not fall through this line. Like it could stay up here for a bit and then slowly go up. But, you know, but we cannot fall this 50-day, because if it falls, panic will set in. It's like this is like right here, right? See how it holds, hold, boom, it fell, and then you see it fell to 50-day. So because we already tested this once, I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt that it won't do that again, because most people can see the same thing happening. So people are shorting right now, and like I'm hoping for a bounce. And then we have Russell, which is probably the weakest of all. But like the chart look the most ugly. But in terms of like technical strength, you can see 50-day is still under. This is the red line. 50-day is still under the 200-day. So same thing, right? Right now, the Russell already broke 200-day many times. It finally, you see this whole, rectangle here, like this whole section, it's been sitting under the 200-day for so long, and finally popped back up. Now we're gonna have our first test again. So again, similar to Dow, like it's already been tested once, and it's a significant time frame too, right? It's not just a few days, right? This is like almost over a month or 2 months, yeah. So from March to June, right? Like that's 3 months of testing. So I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt that it's gonna bounce here. So if they do bounce in the Dow Jones and Russell, then we're gonna see whether S&P will bounce as well. But like I said, S&P is like showing weakness right now, and then we're gonna see NASDAQ also, like we're just sitting at the 10-day. Now, there's a few things I could interpret from this high volume. It could be good and bad, because it probably happened at the end of the day where things get rebalanced or something. Oh, there must be a rebalance. Now I remember. There's probably a Russell rebalance and some other rebalancing. So like because so this is an inside day, I believe. So let me see the lows here, 13,441. Yeah, just worry slightly. Inside day. So usually inside days you treat that as like not a wash day, right? Like you don't count it because you don't know. It doesn't give you much information in terms of the trend. So we'll see, because it hold the low. Like the way I look at this is because it hold the low from Thursday. If it can bounce on Monday morning, that will be a really good sign, because that means that you have 3 days to test the lows, right? So normally when you test the low, if you have 3 days or more, usually it's a good sign, and it didn't make a new low, right? So, but on the high side, we're still on the downtrend, right? You can see the slope here. So again, this is why, if I look at my QQQ, because I can see that real time during the day, I draw the trend line to make sure, if it passes this trend line, then it's definitely a rebound happening, right? So that's the idea here. So any question on all these indexes? Okay. So I'll just go through the weekly notes here. There's not much happening this week. The new home construction jumped quite a bit, which, like, I was really surprised by this number. It was like 1.63 million units. Yeah, it's much more than previous months, like 1.3, 1.4. Also, the permits also jump a lot. And the builder sentiment are at 11-month high. That's interesting as well, right? So limited inventory in the resale market and easing material costs continue to hoist confidence. This is really good news. This is why, so we can look at quickly here the ITB index here, and you can see it's still on the upslope. Like this is the index for the home builder, but the slope is pretty good. It's like either you look at the 10-day, 21-day, very similar, and 50-day on the red line here. They're all going upwards. So this is very strong. I don't have many stocks in this because most of them have negative earnings still, but you know, but they're improving, right? So if you want to, you know, it's already been running for a year now. Like you can see since last year, late last year, it's been running for a year. Most of the stocks double, you know. So yeah, like I think I have a list here. Let me just quickly pull it up. So we have, so DHI is one of the strongest one. You can see here, right? This is, you know, from almost 70 or 80 to 120. You know, they don't go up fast, but they're going up, you know, stable, right? Like, so it's a good holding one. And like I said, the sentiments are only improving. Yeah. The only, like I said, the only problem why I don't hold any, like if I buy, I'll buy the index, but I'm gonna have to wait for a pullback because they're pretty high up now. So like you see DHI minus 40%. So like they're not, you know, they're not growing fast, but they're beating the expectation, right, of the market. So that's why the stock's going up, right? So from a relative standpoint, that's why investors are putting money in there. And this again, this kind of goes against the economy recession stuff, right? Like people are buying homes, and builders are also doing well. So, you know, again, this is really interesting, right? So yeah, so this is DHI and MVR. This is you see, they all look similar, right? The chart, like all of them look similar. You know, this one, yeah, like I mean, this is 4,500 to 6,000. So it's like most of them are 30-40% average gains in the last 9 months to 12 months. They're not, like I said, they're not a big gainer, but they're stable, right? So, you know, so here you see about 90 to 137, right? So they're doing pretty good. And then you have PHM. Oh, I think one of them. Oh yeah, okay. So we'll go to PHM. Yeah, look at this one. This one is probably pretty strong. Look at the slope, right? So this is probably around 45 to now 76, and then we have.
This is a big surprise to me. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm watching this from a long time.
I know.
I don't
Yeah,
understand why the interest rate is the highest level, and
yeah,
still this guy is just marching ahead.
yeah. And you know, I missed this boat too, right? Like for me, like I say, I don't buy negative earnings stock, but I should have at least bought the index. And I missed that chance. And you can see the base, they were all building bases around this time frame here, which was like at the beginning of the year. And then you see it broke out, and then this was the run, right? And then now it's too late to chase after them because they're all up over 20% already since the last base. So, but yeah, they're still moving up, and you know, and so forth, right? I think Lennar was also recently reported. This one is slightly not as strong, but you know, again, still, right, still have an uptrend momentum. So all these home builders really, you know, really surprise people, and the numbers are there, the fundamental numbers are there. And then that also leak over to like all the suppliers, right? So like BLD, this is building construction material, right? Provide installation service. So here, so again, all these stocks have an uptrend momentum. BLD, IBP is another one. So you know this. So you can see both of them have very similar pattern. Now this one just broke out. So they all have this nice slope, right? There's Aeon is another one. So this one, yeah. So this is heating, air conditioning, heating stuff. You can see the slope of the stock, right? Like usually you follow the 50-day line. That's a good indication of the slope line. And so yeah, all these are super strong. Aon, there's, let me look at, like I own TGLS, and so this one, you know, again, this one also recently broke out. So you see the slope of the 50-day line, it's pretty strong, you know. Yeah, they're pretty good stocks. So that's kind of like surprising. On Tuesday, that was the news came out. Wednesday, we start the, you know, and I think I messaged you. We finally see the FANG stock start correcting on Wednesday. But you know, Thursday they rebound pretty strong. Especially Amazon came up with the news of AI investment, right? So Amazon hit a new high on this day. We can go look at it right now. So here we go. So you can see, yeah. So Thursday you see that new high. Friday is very good action because it gave back very little, and you know, that's a very good sign. It gave back very little despite volume was, you know, above average. So Amazon, you know, finally announced their AI program. So you know, they're kind of like the last one to announce, right? So Google wasn't doing as well this week. No one really knows why. You can see it's now below 10-day many days now. 3 days, 4 days now. So this one might have more trouble ahead. Again, the storyline here is, I kind of mentioned this before. If everyone is using AI, like let's say like a ChatGPT tool or a Bing tool, well, they're not going to be using search anymore. So is that going to cut into Google's profit? Because that's how they make money, it's through search, from advertisement on their search results. So if I'm not using that and I'm only using Bing or ChatGPT to do my queries and get the results right away, that's going to cut away a lot of their search traffic, right? So I always don't understand how Google is going to transform, you know, to make money against, you know, using AI, like, because AI kind of work against search is what I'm trying to say. And so yeah, this is on a very clear downtrend. It's been like that for more than, you see, 2 weeks now. So this is not good, right? This is a much bigger trend. It's not just a few days. So anyhow, that's Google, Apple. So you see Apple, Amazon, they all hit new high on Thursday. And look at Friday, it bounced from the low and closed at the top. That's even more superior, like as a chart. Microsoft, okay, so Microsoft, you see, this is, you know, very similar to Google. This is, but except this is like only 4 days, 5 days downtrend, whereas Google is 2 weeks downtrend now, right? So again, so this is also not good. But I think this is normal because this week it just followed the market. But like I said, Google is a little bit underperforming right now. Meta. So Meta, look at Meta. It makes a new high on Friday. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So they, just so you know, like, you know, I'm looking at the jobs and they're hiring again. So I see lots of postings on their website. So that's really interesting. So that's Meta. And then we look at Nvidia. So this is, you know, everyone, like, you see, look, 3 days, very tight. This is so tight, right? It didn't even touch the 10-day. Volume is drying up. That's incredible. No one wants to sell. You know, like last time it touched the 10-day, you can see that clearly. Right now it hasn't touched it. So we'll see, right? Like, it's gonna, you know, the market is a little bit, you know, testing the water right now, and you know, so if this falls, everything will fall. Like, that's what some analysts say. Nvidia is going to be the leader of the market, and if this falls, everything else will fall. So it will be, you know, this is, you know, I don't know, this is a pretty long run now, right? Like, it's getting like 1, 2, like, I'm counting the pullbacks to the 10-day, right? Like, you know, you can count this as one here, like same time frame. 1, 2, 3. This is another one, 4, 5. Like, it's getting long in the tube is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, It also broke the trend line, upper trend line recently, 3 weeks ago. Obviously it broke it again a week ago. So it's like it's getting long in the tooth. It's getting obvious. That's why like I don't like the market action right now. If you come back to NASDAQ, I just don't like this action, right? Like it's just constantly making lower highs, and even Thursday it make a new higher than the previous day, but then Friday it negates it because it gapped down, right? So every time you see gap down, it's always like not a good thing, right? Especially in an uptrend. It's just you shouldn't see gap downs on uptrends. It's usually negate the action the day before. So that's why Thursday to me is like actually you don't even count that as an up day, because Friday it gaps down. So yeah, very scary moment. I will be very cautious here. I think like I say, Monday morning, if it doesn't bounce, we're gonna see it go to 21 day eventually. So that's kind of the idea. And like I said, we should see a bounce, right? Because Dow like I said, sometimes they don't act together, like all the indexes. So sometimes Dow and industrial and small cap will lead, and those ones will look at the banks, right? But before I jump to the banks, let's finish the Magnificent Seven. Tesla is the last one. So you can see Tesla is really weak right now. Like why I say that? Because it actually topped on Wednesday. It was a reversal, right? And then Thursday, it fell all the way to 10-day, and then again it closed at the top. It just barely went up. Like it's a strong rebound. Don't get me wrong that day, but again Friday negates that, right? Because it kind of gapped down. So yeah, I don't like this action. So yeah, this is very weak as well. So and volume is there on the selling side, so that's not good either. So that's Tesla, man. But but yeah, I don't know. This last week is not a good action. But sometimes you come back to the index. 5 days may be enough. I don't know, of a pullback. Generally, a small pullback will be 3 to 5 days. But like I said, Friday is a bad close. That's another problem. It didn't give any confidence. Like it basically means that no one wants to hold right over the weekend because they worry Monday it'll gap down again. Because if it gaps down again, it's gonna hit the 21 day in no time. Yeah, so that's kind of where things are at. So the Magnificent Seven, if they fall, just like what we saw in the last week, everything else kind of go in sync, right? You just, so that's the problem right now. Everyone's watching those 7 stocks, so yeah. So Jim Ropel mentioned lots of pullbacks. Like in the uptrend, there's lots of pullbacks, right? Like I think he was showing an example of like I can't remember which year, but he said in any bull run you will see lots of pullbacks. Like look at this, right? Like here you can see 2-week pullback. Like this is 2020 after the pandemic. Look, 4 weeks pullback, 3 weeks pullback. It's like constant, right? Like every 2-3 months you see a huge like pull, sometimes bigger. So this one's the bigger one. I can't remember how much it is. 12%. So that's more than 10%, right? So it's a correction. This one was 10%. No, 14%. So this is in this is in like October. No, August. So this even in 2020 there was two 10% correction, over 10%, right? So even in an uptrend, you gotta be cautious of those pullbacks and corrections, right? So it does happen. So many times. So yeah, and those are the big ones you see on the weekly chart. Like the daily ones, probably there's some like 3%, maybe even as much as 4 or 5% that you don't really see on the weekly chart. So like and you don't know, right? Like how much they're gonna pull back, but you can see like even 2020 and 21, you can see it always come back to the 50-day line. So that's why this last week when we were mentioning, it was like over 10%. Nasdaq was over 10% above. That's unusual, like very unusual. Okay, so if it pulls back to 10-week moving average, that's 10% right there. So, yeah, and if we pull back further, then it'll be over 10%, right? So that's why you cannot chase stocks, you know. And anyhow, we'll look at some tech stocks. A lot of them have moved down significantly, but some of them still holding, but still. Yeah, and I'll jump to KRE now because that is falling apart. That's why small caps are not doing well. Look at this. It fell below 50-day, like close at the bottom. This is not good because in order for this, you know, bull market to continue, it broke the trend line as well. So I was shocked with this. This is not good. And it started this week, right? So last week you can see it's holding 10-day and then boom, it fell below it and then it just kept going down. So this is really bad for the small caps. And this is all because of the testimonial by Fed Powell, right? He said that he wants to raise capital reserve requirements on all the banks, but he said it's most likely for large banks, but the small caps banks also react to it. So will this bounce? Was this a shakeout here? This is a pretty big shakeout because a lot of people bought here. They're now underwater depending where you buy it. And then even this last, like, see this base. Okay, let me clear this again. There's this long support line right here. It hasn't broke that yet. So let's see if we find support there and then bounce here. That's what you know, you hope. Yeah, so that's that. Let me see what else happened. So yeah, talk about MDB in a second. A lot, you know, some people are saying this is an emerging leader right now. Has a very bullish pattern, high tide flag. Let's go look at it. So a high tide flag is when it goes over roughly close to 100%, and then it forms a flag pattern. So that's what it looks like. So it's like it has made a huge gain, and then it just went sideways, right? And that is not normal. Normally, after a big gain, it will fall back pretty hard, but this is not giving up its gains. It means that it has superior accumulation. You should see lots of volume here, you know. And then now it's falling back on very little volume, and it's not even going down in price. So this could be like I said, this is like it hasn't made a new high yet, but it's emerging as a potential huge leader. So MongoDB. Yeah, this week we don't have much. This coming week we don't have much news. PCE index on Friday, I believe. Yeah, look at it. So anything else about macro you want to talk about? The only thing that's not new is the Fed keep reiterating they'll probably raise rates 2 more times this year. That's so the market kind of continued from the last week, which is people are worried that they're overdone it. So personal income PCE index, yeah, so on Friday. But other than that, there's not much news now. We have home chiller index on Tuesday. Yeah, so it's pretty quiet week. Okay, we have another Fed House week meeting here on Wednesday, but like I say, nothing new, right? So let's look at the Fed GDP estimate here from Atlanta Fed. Okay, see, still roughly like 1.9%. So it's still doing really good this whole quarter, right? April to June. So we're almost finishing June. Like I said, yeah, let me show you another chart before I forget. Because I think because I think that is important to kind of know what the seasonality look like right now. So let me go find so this is a seasonality chart of the QQQ. So January, February, March, generally the first 3 months are kind of not the strongest. And then we have April, pretty strong. And then May is kind of like, you know, it kind of went down and then come back up. And June is kind of like, again, like kind of up and down action, right? And you can see the second half of June tend to go down. So we in the second half of June, right? So that's what happened. And then you see July is a very strong. Look at that, right?
Yeah.
And then August is kind of, again, August is up by the end of the month, like the last week. You can see this shoot up right here. So that's the seasonality picture. So you can see like you know, it pretty rhymed, right? Except January. This year January was really strong. Like it actually, you know, this year January was more like, you know, kind of like just go up, like it didn't really come down much. I guess it depends which area you look at too. But this is for QQQ. So yeah, QQQ went up. So we go look at just for like, you know, I can't compare it directly, but we can compare it like. Let me put away all my markers for a second. So January start right here. So January, you can see it was top right here. So that's like February. Oops. February, see? And then it goes down till mid-March. And then it went up to April. So right here is April. And then it kind of went sideways the whole month of, like, till almost mid-May. Right? And then it went up. So mid-May to now mid-June. And then now we're starting to come back down. The second half of June. So like I said, probably it will hit 21 day. Like that's kind of where I think in my head. But like I said, we'll see what this last week do in June. But most likely it's going to hit the 21 day. Just based on seasonality. And then we have July starting, and then we'll probably bounce from here. Like it's seasonality shows that July is a very strong month. So that's kind of important, I think, because I think too many people are already bearish right now. Like at least, I mean, not all of them, but you know, let's go look at the sentiment for a second. I just think a lot of people are already shorting this market, which is kind of weird, you know. But let's look at AAII. Last week it jumped to a really high. Okay, this week it dropped back down a couple %. So it's still quite bullish. Okay, bearish jumped 5%. So you can see 22% to 20. So that's significant. And this is up to only 21st. So that's only up to Wednesday, right? So the last 2 days, you know, it dropped more. So I assume people are starting to get bearish again. A little bit. Let's look at probably the CNN one is still pretty high because that one is longer term picture. So yeah, see, it's dropped from extreme greed last week to now, just slightly into the. So here's the, you know, I can't draw it, but you can see the high right here, the high right here, the high. Like those are the previous highs, so I expect some bounce around there. So right here. So a few more percent. Right here. So yeah, so I think we might probably see, I don't know. I think in a way it's like good if we can like drop a couple, 2 or 3 more days, and then more panic will set in or hit the 21-day, and then we might see the week close off positive going into July, and then we're going to see big rebalancing next week as well. So then, yeah. Let me see if IWM. Yeah, see, I think the Russell was the one that rebalanced on Friday last week, but maybe the QQQ maybe rebalance next week because there's no volume there. See, so we'll see. Yep. So that's what's happening. Yeah. Any other questions before we jump to the stocks?
No. Sounds good.
Okay. So I just pulled up the top 100 stocks on my since October low. Just want to make sure we kind of know what's leading since the October low. We see lots of biotechs at the top for sure. They're obviously a little bit more risky. Medical products, as I mentioned last week. So these are, like I said, most of them are biotech. So there's a couple of stocks that I think is worth mentioning in this biotech here. This one's medical product, TCMD. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so it's starting to pull back. This is a strong run. Oh my god. Like, this is a small cap though, 500 million. But this is a nice chart. Yeah. You gotta pay attention. These are, because the leaders, they tend to lead, right? So, yeah. But this one has a Friday was pretty bad. It's a reversal day. And so that's not good. So, but I think you see last time it hit 21. So it hit it like 3-4 times now. So I think like it might be time for it might be correcting now. I don't know. I don't like this action. See how it pop out one day and then it pull back to so fast. Like, again, one of the things that I've learned about chart reading as well is not just look at the turn in the direction, but also look at the speed. That's something that David Ryan talks about a lot when he look at chart. Is always look like how many days it takes it to go down versus it takes it to go up, or vice versa, right? And so this after this pullback, look at how fast it went up. So that's good action, and then it went sideways. So this is still good action. But recently you see it went up like one day, but look at how fast it dropped back down. If it broke this low, it's gonna be really bad. So anyhow, just a side note on like how do you determine if the change in direction is severe or not, right? That's kind of the way. It's the speed of how fast it changed. Whether it's making a new low or new high faster than before. So this is telling me that there's something not right now. So but that's again one of the top performers. I'm just gonna, I have already made a trend line there. So you want to pay attention to leaders because as they correct, and that's what Jim Ropel has been doing. He's watching Nvidia, he's watching Palantir, he's watching MongoDB. All these he believes are the next big leaders, and it's already one of the big leaders. And when they pull back, that's your chance to watch and get in more shares, right? If you underweighted in those stocks. So he's not a believer in buying second tier stocks or third tier stocks. You should always focus your money on the top tier stocks, because he said roughly, okay, like I don't think he has the numbers to prove it, but based on his experience, he find that if, let's say, you want chip stock and you look at Nvidia or AMD as an example, While generally Nvidia, let's say, is the top performing stock, and AMD is the second performing stock. Usually on the run, in the whole bull run, the first performing stock will double the percentage on compared to the second performing stock. And this is first versus second. If you buy like third tier stocks that are ranked lower, even worse, right? So he said, you know, if you're investing for the longer term, there's definitely no doubt you want to always buy the best one, because you know they're already leading. They already tell you they're performing better. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's why you don't give up on these guys. They're the top guys, right? So that's TCMD, and then the other one was that also mentioned a lot is Exact Science. So again, you see it's starting to come down. Has this one bad day, but surprisingly it didn't drop after that. So that's interesting. I think they might, yeah, I don't know. I think there was some, so the news came out this week. I wrote it down here. Yes, it announced their next generation Cologuard colon cancer test outperformed the original in the study. But the stock still went down, just so you know. That's what happened that day. But the you know, the long-term thing is that it could eventually net half of the colon cancer screening market. So that's you know, that's the long-term, you know, outlook, right? And look at this uptrend, it's really nice. It already made 20%. Looks like it might start to pull back now. So it's definitely extended to buy. I don't have this, but I'm keeping it on my watch screen. It's, you know, and look at the long-term chart. This is, you know, top performer, right? Again, that slope is strong. So it built a base here. Now it's probably gonna pull back and build another base, and then before going again. So that's you know, yeah, in the top 10. These are the top 10. What else in the top 10? Oprah we talked about last week. Oprah, I believe it corrected pretty hard this week. There you go. So we talked about this last week, and it was hit a climax run because you can see the trend line broke pretty hard. You know, this is on the weekly chart. If you go to daily, there you go. Right, like this is a pretty strong slope. And even if you draw it like super high here, it broke it at least twice. And now look at how fast. In 5 days it gave back significant amount. I think the high was what? 21, almost 22. Now it's already 17. So it's like almost $5 out of 17. That's already 20% at least. So it's just in a few days, you know, and now it's below 10, below 21. It tried to rebound on Friday, but it couldn't even come back to the 21 day. Like I think it's gonna hit the 50 day or even further. So that's the thing. But these stocks will correct and give you another chance to get back in if you believe they're the leader. SMCI also correcting, I believe. Also finally top. And that's the thing. Once they top, they fall fast, right? Because people now have to decide. Even the ones who are in the green, they have to decide, where do I take profit? Because if I don't, it start giving back so fast, and you know, you don't know how far it'll go. Look at this. This is the 10-week moving average, or 50-day. You don't want to give back all that gain since then, and it's already halfway now. So.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why like you know, it's always good to take profit, right? Especially when you have a lot. I'm not saying if you believe SMCI is a true leader in this bull market, but when you have runs like that is like almost like, see, this is like about 60-degree angle, like, you know, that's unusual, right? Even 45-degree angle is already unusual. It's gonna correct, and so if you're willing to sit through that correction, which could be significant, you know, 30 to 50% correction, you know, like, ask yourself, right? Like, why do you want to do that? At least sell some, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can buy back when it's lower. Like, don't worry that it will keep going. Nothing goes up forever, right? So, again, for me, it's not so much the selling. For me, it has always been easier to sell when I have profit, but it's always the holding part that's, for me, is the hardest. How far do I hold? And that's why, like this one, like I said, same thing, right? It has a climax run. You know, this was the gap up from some news, I can't remember. And then, so yeah, I think even here you could have sold like some, but you know, yeah, anyhow. So that's again another leader dropping fast. So all the leaders are dropping fast now. Nvidia we already talked about. So those are in the top 10. Let's see what else made it. Miniso is still in the top. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so this has been stuck in a range. You know, you thought it was going to move this time, and then it didn't. It fell back again. This is it's a long base, but I have to remember, you know, that's the thing, right? This is a long run, and now it's making this long base. Like, who knows how long this base will be? You just keep trying and keep trying. This was a huge test right here, huge shakeout probably, but this week it was really terrible because it just fall, like, it gapped down and fall so hard below the 50-day. So that's not good either. ACLS is doing pretty good. You know, previously, and now again, same thing, correcting. All the tech stocks are correcting, most of them. So here you go. This is around 8 days now. It has this slope. You know, AI stuff. So AI corrected really fast. Look at this. Right? So the peak was around 49, and now it's at 33. That's $16 out of 49. That's already 32% more, 32% or more in just 5 days. So again, this is the same story, right? You have this big run here from the bottom of the space, and now it's coming back to like the breakout point almost. Like, this is another breakout point, so it's already underneath the previous breakout point. So that's the problem with tech stocks, right? They can go up fast, but they also go down fast. ELF, like I said, I always like ELF. It's still just running, man. There's no. It's really hard to get in once you miss it, because this part right here, like, I didn't get in. So this was the last time I could have gotten, like, on that earnings news, which I didn't. Yeah. So I missed that. It's just really strong. Apron. Okay, let's take a quick look. It doesn't look too good. How come this? I had to look at this. Why it's in the top? Something might be wrong with this. Yeah, doesn't look right, the chart. Like, some of this are like, maybe they're like, yeah, this one is okay. This one is also falling hard right now. So this one has a huge gain from this earnings news. Yes, no one talks about this stuff, but it's falling really hard right now. Look at that. After that gap up. See, this is a very good example. Do not chase stocks on earnings. Like, yeah, I don't think I ever want to chase stocks. Like, especially if it's like 10% or more. If you don't get in within the 10% jump, like, that's already really risky. And this is like a big jump that day. Like, this is how many percent? 30%, 38% up there. And now it's giving back. Like, that's why every stock eventually fall back to 10-day, and sometimes fall to 21, and then the worst case 50-day, right? And then before institutions will buy again. So it depends, right? But yeah, this is a very good example. Like this is probably the the classic example right here. HBIO. Okay, so a lot of medical products name. This one is very thin. I want to get into it, but I didn't because it's too thin for me. It has a really nice chart. Like it goes up straight, and then it went sideways. Like almost look like again a high tide flag, right? It just went sideways. Like, but this is very thin stock, so that's why I didn't buy it. But it's a really strong stock. Shopify. Yeah, Shopify is starting to correct a little bit, but it's holding tight. You can see on the weekly chart. Yeah, sorry, I need to put back my markers. So here's the trend line broken, and so I got in there, and it's just holding pretty tight right now. It's pulling back, but even Thursday, Friday is green. That's pretty good because everything was down, right? So Intel, look at this. Look at this. This is tight, right? So that's one thing. As this pullback continues, who are the guys that are holding up the strongest? And so this is another one of them. So Shopify, Intel on the top, right? These are really good. IAS, another one. Let's see. Okay, so this one has pulled back to 50-day. Like this is a strong run. He hasn't given much chance to get in. Like there's no base building. It's all just small pullbacks. And you can see it actually hit my trend line a little bit. But usually I redraw them because so Friday is a good day. So if Monday it breaks that trend line again, usually I let it try once or twice. If it breaks that trend line again, usually I like to draw trend lines after a big update. So I don't just buy on the first big update, draw a trend line, and then let's say if it breaks that again, that's a good sign because there's a follow through, right? So I like to see that follow through because if you just buy on this big update and then it can continue downward again, you don't know, right? Like it can continue downward again, right? So draw a trend line across those big updates. It gives you a better sense that those are where the support comes in, and if it goes above those support line or downtrend line, then it has a higher chance of success. So, but this is a very strong stock. It finally pulled back. Look, this is the first time I touched the 50-day in a long time, so I like it. And so this is like okay, it touched here a little bit. Not in the daily chart, you don't see it though. That's weird. Okay, maybe it's this one. Pretty close. Yeah. So highest at the top. Those are really good stocks. C-Base Biotech, Assure, TGLS, Assure. I can't remember. Let me just. Yeah, this one. It has a big run and then it just fall apart. This is not a liquid stock, so this is why it's not on my watch list. But it's not as liquid. See, that's the one thing. When you buy non-liquid stocks, it can go up fast, but when it goes down, it's like it gets hammered, man. So yeah, so that's a good lesson. If you want to trade a non-liquid stock, make sure you have tight stop, right? Like don't ever give it too much of a stop because they can fall fast. And the worst case is you don't have a stop. Then like I said, it's crazy. Okay, so we see some retails here. ANF. Let's see what's doing. Wow, look at this. See some stocks you miss. You miss the trend line or the breakout. Like this is the low entry. This is the high entry. Like once you miss it, you miss it. Like this is incredible. Like look at this run. It's not even close to 10-day. That's crazy. Okay, so this one, I don't know how I missed this stock previously because it wasn't on my list at all. And then IBD mentioned it, and then yeah, this one broke out really nice. This is the first pullback. Yeah, I should draw a trend line there because this is the first time it pulls back after this run. This look at this is 26% from here, but you know, if you buy on this day and move up, you are up 26% in like 2 weeks. That's pretty good. But I don't know how I missed it. It wasn't on my list before. So I missed it. But yeah, this is banks foreign. They have climbed considerably. I have. Let me go to it. Banks foreign. GCal, NU, IBN. Yeah, IBN is another one that just, let me see. Okay, this one went up and then it kind of went sideways. So it's just stuck in the range right now. So it's okay. But that is in the same group. I don't know why foreign banks are doing so well right now.
Yeah, that's the Indian bank. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, like that's interesting that foreign banks are doing well. Because I know Canadian banks not doing so well, and U.S. banks too, right? So yeah, like we can talk about J.P. Morgan because they follow the news of the Fed Powell and they want to raise capital reserve, and that's what happened. 3 strong days down. It did bounce off 50-day. So that's good, but you know, because it was a gap down, it doesn't really count, right? So you see at the end of the week, it's still closed near the low. But this is a tight trading range. That's one thing I like about it. I thought it was going to break out. It didn't because of what Fed Powell said. And hopefully that's the last of it. I don't know. The volume is really light on the selling side. Look at that. That's the lowest volume in months. So hopefully this is it. Anyhow, so a little bit about the banks there. So leisure areas, you see leisure, CCL, RCL, these are the cruise line. They're just super strong. I don't know how I missed them. I still regret. Look at that. Just trade so tight at the top. That is insane. After 30% gain. Look at this tightness. That's amazing. Look at this volume on the down day. Like, right here. Wow. Someone is killing big time. I just booked a cruise, eh? Me and a whole bunch of friends just booked a cruise for 2025. So it's pretty far away. But yeah, everyone, like, I've never been on a cruise. A lot of people haven't been on a cruise, and everyone just want to go to one now because there's a lot of stuff to do now on the cruise. So especially for family with kids and stuff. RCL is another one. Yeah, look at this. It's still going up. Didn't even pause this week. Look at that. This is, oh man. Like, I don't know. I regret. Like I said, I think I hold some of it. I can't remember which one. And then I sold it. I don't know why I did that, but anyhow. They're just really strong. IQ is China. I'm not gonna talk about China. Like, because a lot of China stock. Okay, we can go to like a couple of them. Like FXI, right? See this week, like I own the index, right? And it just fell apart this week, because there was some. I think it started the week with some bad news on the economic side. On Monday or Tuesday, yeah. So it has dropped a lot since then. So it definitely came back to this right here. So the low is right here. So we'll see if it bounces this coming week. So a lot of things hinder on this coming week, right? So whether they find support, like the Dow's industrials, the small caps. some of this foreign index, right? Like I own my best Chinese stock is NTES. It gave back quite a bit. Here you go. This was a nice run, and now it gave back almost quite a bit. Like not quite half, but gave back quite a bit. So is it gonna go to 50-day and bounce? We'll see. So this one already broke out, so it came back to the breakout point basically. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Usually when there's a run, it runs pretty strong. So you know, kind of 120 is around the profit area there. Okay, so that's that. VRT. Everyone talks about VRT. We talked about it last week too. Now it's more obvious, like people starting to talk about it because it just keep running like an Energizer bunny. Like the electrical area is so strong, right? Like all the power plant, there's something, I don't know if this had to do with EVs or what, but like, you know, we hear all this charging station stuff from Tesla. Like I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but all of them running like at 45-degree angle. Like this guy is just running like insane. Like, you know, so I missed this one, so I don't have. Let me see if in this area what other stocks in that, because I know they're all running really strong. Yeah, ENS is another one that also took off. Okay, so this week it pulled back. So this one pulled back. Interesting. So here you go. This week it pulled back. VRT is still going. There's a huge spike in volume on Friday. Interesting. MVT. Okay. Yeah, this one is holding really tight. This is interesting. It's like it hasn't moved much, but it's holding really tight. Yeah, let me draw a trend line. This is interesting. Sometimes it's hard to draw that trend line because you have all these other lines here. Let me draw another one. This one's easier. Nope. Let's just say line. There you go. Okay, so that's that. And then Hub was another one. This one is really good too. Okay, so this one's starting to pull back really slightly. 10-day. Yeah. Rock and ABB. Those are really good too. So this one, okay, also pulling back slightly. So I like the action of this group. They're all pulling back very tightly this week. Looks like they probably have more room to run. So this one pulled back a lot this week. Interesting. There you go. This one is so, I don't know what, like so thin ever since it, because it changes symbol or something. Oh, now it's in OTC. That's why. Okay, before it was not OTC. Interesting. Okay. All right. MongoDB, we talked about that. UFPT, containers packaging. Yeah, it's a nice run. Look at this one. Wow. It's this is interesting. Like this is why, like, you know, some industrial areas or commercial areas, like they're really strong. Like, oh, this stock has been running for a long time. Look at this. It's a small cap. Like, oh, it's not. Yeah. This just keep going. Do you have any stocks you want to look at as you continue?
I'm not in many names right now, but yeah.
Okay.
JPM is I'm still holding.
Okay. This is YPM. This is an Argentina company. Okay, it just broke out. Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed this one. Yeah, I missed this one. It's a nice breakout, you see. It's, yeah, missed that one. So it's funny, right? Like oil and gas this week was like hit hard, right? Oil. Like if you look at XLE, see, it's been stuck in this range for weeks now. Daily chart is probably more obvious. So you can see it just bounced back and forth. It just couldn't pass this 50-day line right here. See, 50-day, and now it's like, you know, but yet the stocks like, well, this one is not U.S. related as much, but still like it's moving up, which is very interesting. I'm starting to see a few, not a lot, like oil stocks holding up better. Like this week, you know, like the oil price dropped a lot, right? Let me see. Let me go to weekly chart. Well, not a lot, like 3%. But I see many stocks not drop 3%. But there are a lot of stocks also hit lows, right? Like Suncor, a lot of big guys, they hit new lows. So I think it's a mixed picture. Very interesting. So it's just been building this long base, you see. Like the next time, like this is so clear on the weekly chart, right? So 200 day, 200 day, 200 day, right? So the next time it passes 200 day and give it a week or so and it doesn't come back down, like that's gonna be the next bull cycle for oil, right? But who knows how long that's gonna take. It's just been like so long now, like crazy. It peaked like pretty much since like near April or May last year. Like, so the first half of the year, remember last year energy was like the best, right? It has this long run, and then ever since it just drift lower. It didn't drift super low, but it just drift lower lows. But this is a long base right now. This is like 8 weeks. Hasn't made a new low. Like I feel like it's really near. Like, but the question is, what catalyst would that be? And because the war is like, there's more talks about war going into recession. Like this is why Chinese went down this week, right? China economy, because they report lower numbers on some manufacturing numbers, and but the thing is, there's lots of talks that China will stimulate their economy soon, right? They'll put in a stimulus package, and that news could spark a run even before it happened. So, and oil will be beneficial from that, right? So we'll see if that will happen. And then we also have to remember, right, the OPEC countries, they've been cutting. At some point, they're going to stop cutting. And so as soon as they announce they stop cutting, oil will jump as well, right? But I think the whole problem is that the inflation is still there. But a lot of, recently, this last week, I can't remember which countries, right? I think 3 or 4 countries announced their inflation came down a lot, especially in Asia. So, which is very good news. So, yeah. So I think China, because China probably don't want to stimulate the economy too much yet until the inflation thing is really controlled in most countries. Yeah, anyhow. That's the story there. This one, I want to talk about. This 2 biotechs really strong. PCVX. Look at this base, right? It went up quite a bit, and it built this base, really tight base. It's 13% correction, and now it's near a breakout point. Look at this. So, like, it's just trading so tight. That is a pretty good sign. Again, this is biotech, AMPH. This one, I regret it because I trade in it now, and then I never buy it back in, and it just took off. And then when it took off, look at how fast it went up. Like, this is the last 2 weeks right here, like over 20%. And yeah, because this was the last run, and then this run was good, and like I said, I missed this big time. This is the early entry point right here. This is the traditional buy point, and then even on this huge pullback, like, that's where it shook out a lot of investors, and I knew I should have known. This was, as soon as it came back up this week, like, the only reason I didn't get in, I wasn't persuaded, was like, it's just too volatile. I think that was the reason why I didn't get it. It's just too volatile.
And yeah, but usually after a big shakeout, that's when the stock runs. Yeah, so that's what happened to SNCI, right? If you go back to SNCI, there was this gyration right here. Look, you know, if you go into the daily chart, it's harder to see now because it's all because of this. Like it looks so tiny, it's not, right? See, I remember this 118, 97, 119, 93. Like it shake out a lot of people right here, like 2 times, right? Over 20% drop.
Including me.
Yeah, and then it finally worked. And then once it worked, it didn't stop going up. So that's why when you follow leaders, I realize that sometimes when there's too many people watching it, that's what happens. It will like kind of try you 2-3 times, and AMPS is one of them. Like, you know, it just, yeah, like this was a huge shakeout this week. Let me go to daily chart right here. This is a huge shakeout, you know, and this, you know, you shake out, and then like I said, there's this big update, and then even then, like, you know, it went sideways, and then all of a sudden it just worked. Like this is where it works. So sometimes you need some patience too. So that's probably, yeah, I was like, oh, this, because you know, one thing that was giving me a hint was that it just bounced off the 10-day constantly after that, even during this breakout here, like bounce. Like it just wouldn't go below 10-day, right? And so this is something, again, when the stock doesn't want to go below 10-day as it come close to it, that's a sign you want to get in. Even though, like, you know, like to me this is a little bit extended, like, you know, but sometimes that's the sign you want to get in, because it just won't want to come down. Yeah. So that's why because there's a good story here. I don't have it in front of me, but strong fundamentals. Okay. Machinery, construction, mining. Let's look at this one. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but the machinery section, they went up really strong. Then they have been pulling back the last few months, and you can see this, right? But now it's starting to look like a very nice base have been built, and now they're coming back on the right side. So you can see even this, like almost like a double bottom base, and you can see this is the middle peak here. So if it breaks that point, that'll be pretty bullish. But what I'm not sure is, like, how's this, like, because this whole, it's not just this stock, right? Like, so this one has come back up on the right side. It's holding pretty tight. That's one good thing. That's why right here, you see, it's pretty tight. Even on Friday, you see, it kind of bounced back. Of course, it only bounced back to 10 days, so it's not like it bounced above 10 days. So still weakness to me. But I like the longer base, right? This is not a short base. This is a pretty good consolidation after this run right here. So look at this, right? It's been correcting even longer than it went up. So, but it only gave up. I mean, it gave up almost half of the gain from the low. So that's pretty good. Like that's a really nice uptrend base, right? Like, see, you can see it more clearly on the weekly. So I like it. But I don't know the fundamentals. Oh, there's an article today about it. MTW right here, Caterpillar. Oh yeah. So I think the headline was like recession fears ease, Caterpillar rallies, right? And all this related group of stuff. So Caterpillar, see, finally it's built this nice big base. And then now, okay, this week it went down, but so it followed the market a little bit. So it did have a nice rebound, but it was a gap down. So again, I don't treat that as a rebound for now until it proves itself. But if it runs up on Monday and climb above 10-day, yeah, then that's a good action. So but they all have this nice long base, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Generally, when they have a nice long base, that usually is the bottom. So and they're building the right side now. Of course, these are not, again, the industrials are been tough this week, so this one followed the market. The other one that I have is Terex. So this one is closer to the top now. Also pullback this week. But again, you can't have every week up, right? So it's been up 3 weeks. Now this week it pulled back. You know, hopefully it will bounce and come back up again and break out. So this is a nice breakout point right now. This would be a nice entry. So there's something happening in that group. I don't know what the story is, but it's finally moving to the right side of the base, and looks like they're pretty close to breaking out from the traditional buy point. So yeah, I like that group. Is there any other stocks I missed? Okay, let's look at this one. ST, CHNI. I don't think those are on my list. Similar chart pattern. Yeah. Okay, this one's slightly weaker. Yeah. Okay. So this is China stock. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about Chinese stock. They're kind of not doing well this last week, but we'll see if they bounce. They should bounce soon. This is Luna, again in the electrical section. So a lot of the electrical stocks usually been doing really good, surprisingly. Okay, so we have this nice, pretty big pullback actually this week. Yeah, so this gives an opportunity. Again, I don't understand what's happening in the electrical world, but a lot of stocks have strong uptrend in the last few weeks and months. Like this is a strong run. So I would watch for these guys. They could be like I say, I don't know if electrical stuff, something is happening in that sector. I feel like something is happening. So yeah. So you want to watch these guys. They might run. Right now it's pulling back. So Fastly is, yeah, we talk about this. It's probably pulling back. All the software group is pulling back. You can see right here. So this one is near 50 days. It didn't bounce though. So I don't like that action. Medical products. We already talked about this last week. Strong group, strong stock. TMDX, we talked about LGM. So let's look at LGM. So a lot of, this is a chip stock. A lot of chip stocks, if you look at SMH for a second, the whole sector, they're all pulling back in general. See, this is the 6 days now, pullback. And for some reason, LGM is not doing that. It's making new high, right, twice this week. You see the difference? Because this guy already corrected before everyone else did. Because of some, I don't know, is it for guidance or earnings? I don't remember. Yeah, it must be some earnings news right here. I can't remember. There's something happened here. I can't remember what. But now it's starting to form up the right side of the base slowly. But especially this last week, I feel like this is like the true review of something's happening in this stock. Like people are buying this stock despite the general market. So yeah, like it was a leader before, just so you know. This was a strong run here, strong run here. But like I say, I can't remember what happened here. It just tanked. And then now it's just slowly rising back. And like it didn't participate in the big run that every other chip stock did. So that was something that was weird too, right? But also interesting, as I said, this last week, everything was falling, but this guy didn't fall. So it feels like there's not many buyers, but there's someone buying. I don't know who. Someone's buying this stock, but it's not many buyers, right? Because there's so many other chip stocks, so they're like, why I buy this guy? Because it's like the low RS right here, low RS, relative strength. So people are not buying this, but there's someone buying, because otherwise you wouldn't do this, right? So anyhow, it's worth mentioning because I feel like this stock is acting pretty strong in that sense. Relatively, yes, it hasn't performed as well, but who knows? Going forward, maybe things will change. Okay, I want to talk about insurance group. So I don't understand what's happening in the insurance group, but they're generally acting pretty well too. So here you go. So remember, the financial sector is getting hit this week, but the insurance group barely budge. They're not moving up fast, but they're not going down fast either. So this guy just kind of broke out and just trade tightly, right? So one of the things I've learned over time is sometimes you may not want to buy on every breakout because maybe you just want to. Sometimes the stock will break out and you don't buy it. That's it. That's your last chance because it will break out and it'll just keep moving for the next 3 weeks. And then, but there's a lot of times stocks will break out and they'll pull back, and you want to wait a week or two and see how it acts near the buy point. And then this is one of them. It just pulls back nicely, didn't do much, but it's not falling, right? There's no one selling. Normally you'll see it come back down pretty fast. It's just acting nice and cool, and I like it. And those are ones that probably is easier to hold. You don't see much volatility, right? And there's something happening like in the insurance world. I don't know why, but this is not like, if I go to my group here, go down. So yeah, so GSHD, ACGL. This one is slightly weaker. This one did build a base. So, but again, it's all relative. So I'm looking at the last week action. Again, financials dropped, but insurance group didn't. So that's why I feel a little bit bullish on this group. RNR. Okay, this one didn't do as well. This one didn't climb up as like those others did. RE, same thing as this one. So not all of them are doing well. KNSL. So this was like kind of like the probably the best relative strength one. It broke out, so it did kind of make new high this week. So this is trading really nice around the 10 days. So again, 10 days it didn't break it. 10 days it didn't break it. When you see stocks that don't break 10 days, those are usually good ones. Yeah, so that group is like interesting. Oil and gas field service, you see three, like we talked about this last week. TDW, there's a lot in this group. Again, it's all relative, right? So what did oil do this week? Down, right? What did this stock do? It's holding nice, making new highs on Wednesday. Strong relative, right? Performance, right? You can see the RS line went up. So I think I took a position on this one, TD Water, because I've been watching this stock for a long time now. So it's one of the strong ones. Like this is the slope of this uptrend, the 10-day moving average, pretty strong slope. OII, this one is not as new name, but it's holding tight. Not as strong. It came back down this week. Yeah, see, came back down this week. It broke the 10-day this week, but again, I don't consider this rebound a strong day because it gapped down, right, and then it rebound. NOA, North American Construction. So this one, see, it broke out, and then look, 2 days down days, but look, it didn't even give up that 1 day of gain. So that's again another strong action. Very nice tight base. It's probably the flattest base you could find. 9% flat base. And yeah, it's really strong. This slope is really strong. Look at that. So this group is acting superior. Like I'm like considering where oil has moved. It's in the last week. It's just unbelievable. And in general, right? Like this whole group has been. I mean, some of them, like I say, most of them form bases, but the bases are so tight. So I really like this group. Okay, hubs, computer software. Okay, so let's see what hubs is doing. Look at this. Look at on the weekly chart. Nice run, tight.
Oh, here's Rocky.
You know, this is tight. This is for a stock this size is tight. I mean, what else can you ask for? I don't know. This is just amazing. So this is now the 4th week. So one more week we'll have a flat base. Yeah. So this is amazing. Even this week action. Look at the range of that week. It's so tight. Unbelievable. No one wants to sell this stock. Another biotech, FICO, software, financial group is okay. I think Intuit. Oh, sorry, paste the wrong thing. FICO. That's the same thing as Intel, right? So this one is trading pretty tight. Intuit is the bigger guy. Right? Look at this. It's trading so tight. It didn't give up much this week, despite the tech sector went down. Look at this. It bounced on Friday. Really good action. Not much volume, but the selling volume is really low. Look at that. So this group is acting pretty strong too. So far, like we only went in the top 50 stocks, and we've seen lots of good action, right? Like despite the last week's pullback, so I'm optimistic that this pullback is going to be short. It's not going to be like 2 months, or even 1 month. I don't think. To me, it feels more like a normal pullback, because the leading stocks are acting out. Look at this is another biotech that should be on your list, because this is like there's a story behind this. And look at this action. Wow. Look at the 10-day and look at the stock price. It just won't want to come to the 10-day. Anytime you see a stock chart like that, you need to pay attention. These are superior stocks. Something is happening. Spotify. Yeah, look at Spotify. Like, this is in the same group as Duolingo. So this is music. Look at this is a nice holding pattern type of stock, right? Just right the 50-day. I missed this one. Obviously the breakout was a while ago. This was the last pullback. If you buy on pullback, that will be the last time you buy. And it just right on this 50-day line so nicely. Uber is very strong. I think they got an upgrade this week. Like, look at this slope line. That's pretty insane. Duolingo. So this week was the new article on IBD talking about how they're using AI for a lot of their stuff, and they have huge potential. The only thing is not on my list is because it still have negative earnings forecast. So, but they're growing their market share big time, right? So it could be a huge, like it's already a big winner this year. I think it's already up over 100%. But right now it's correcting pretty big. So, but I think this could be a big leader, right? But they just haven't shown that they're profitable yet. So that's the only problem. But it's doing well this year if you bought it, from this breakout right here. So that's that one. I see this one is strong, electrical. So this one is probably the strongest one, because I remember the chart. So this is the breakout, and just climb. So this is the slope of the line. So now it's coming back to this slope. Yeah, it hasn't provided any other opportunity. It's now at the 20% profit level. Another medical products is definitely, the strong, like this week is the strongest group. It just continues that run like for a long time now. Like there's something in the medical world. Like these are like it's like the chip stocks of the medical world, right? They provide the products, and so this is INSP. It's probably the weaker one, but if I go to the group, right here, medical products. Okay, so maybe the group is not, because there's so many stocks, but maybe just some of the stocks are doing better. Okay, so there's lots of correction here, but yeah, if I go to here, yeah, we already talked about some of this. They're pretty, like, yeah. So yeah, let's come back to INSP. They're just trading really tight after breaking out. Now it's moving again. So Friday it reversed, but it didn't give up all its gains on Thursday. So that's a good sign. And then Pan, this one also been running a while now. This one is a like super nice chart. So yeah, those two are really good. DraftKings, Time, LTH, but it's called the. I'm just gonna speed through this very fast now because we don't have much time left. When Momo and you Relight, Toll, that's another home building stock. Monday, but Monday is correcting as well, I believe. Like, look at how tight this is. Right, this is super tight. Like Monday, I like Monday, just like MDB. I think this one has really good potential. LSCC, this one, let me see. Okay, form a base, now it's pulling back, so it has potential. We'll see. It's following the market though, that one. It's not outperforming the market, but it's following the market. RMD and Systems Equipment Group, this one is doing pretty good, I think. Okay, it's starting to pull back. This is a nice chart too. So we'll see. We might touch 50-day this time. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna talk about airlines. They did pull back this week, I'm pretty sure. But let's see. This is the channel line I draw, because this is probably the leading one. This is yeah. Like this is the bottom channel line, 10-day. We'll see if it bounce. Like, it hasn't touched the 10-day, pretty close. We'll see if it bounce here, because this is the first pullback after the breakout. Well, if you don't count this one, yeah, if you count this as the base, then this is the first pullback. So that's pretty good. RYAY, Ryanair. This one also pull back on Friday. See, they pull back. So that was shaking out a lot of people. So this is the first pullback since this breakout. Again, so the airlines pull back this week. But this is one of the strongest group, I feel. We'll see if they continue. Extreme Networking really strong. Another leisure. Oh, this is Manchester United. I think they got bought out. Palantir. Let's quickly look at Palantir. So yeah, this week was big drop week, right? So already below 21-day. Like, this is not good. And again, Friday you see how it barely closed. So it actually below Thursday's price. So that's, even though it rebound, that's a negative, still a negative action. So not good. So, but Palantir is a good stock. Like, I think Jim Thorpe number 2 stock beside Nvidia. Yeah, sorry, where am I? Onan, Uber, we talk about Uber. EVAI, Aon, talk about ASML, ISRG, CMMD. That's another medical product. Lots of medical products, right? In the top 100. HIMS, tax, we're talking about ENS, we're talking about race. Lee, oh my, Lee. So, Jim Rumpel also talked about this. It's like, so you finally pull back, but this stock, look, is holding the 10-day really strong. Again, anytime you see stock holding 10-day strong, we'll see if it rebound next week. This might be a pullback opportunity to buy, because if but this is 3 weeks out of 4 weeks run. Usually it runs like 5-6 weeks. So we'll see. It might continue more. And this stock is doing like something incredible, right? Because the China market index hasn't moved as much, but this one has moved, this stock. And it's probably, kind of like Tesla. Celsius, oh man, this guy, just keep going. Look at this. Very nice to hold stock. It's already 20% gain from the breakout. So that's another strong one. There's some aerospace here, building heavy construction, frame. Adobe is strong. Okay, so it did pull back this week, just like the market did, but it's been pretty strong. We'll see if so it's holding up above 10-day. So we'll see if it can continue to hold or it'll break down. Yeah, TDG, another aerospace. So aerospace I'll look at TDG quickly, because I like this one. Okay, it did make a new high this week, so that's really good. So that group is strong. It's coming up. Hospitals, another transport pipelines, CPRT. Las Vegas. So Las Vegas Sands came down a bit this week. Yeah, so it came down, and then Friday it shake a lot of people out. We'll see. It's still a negative action because it kept down. We'll see if it can rebound. That's pretty much it.